Today we're going to talk about underglaze. Underglaze is very different from regular glaze. Regular glaze, you can only fire on bisqueware, okay? So this has been fired in the kiln once. This is bisqueware. This is when you would put glaze onto this. Underglaze is magical because you can also put it on greenware. So this has not been fired in the kiln. Underglaze can go on either one of these. Glaze can only go on bisqueware. When do you use underglaze? You can use it in either bisqueware or greenware. The reason that we are using underglaze is because we will be doing sgraffito. Remember, sgraffito is where you put underglaze onto your clay and then you carve it. So this one, I carved it, fired it, and then I put glaze on. You can see how the glaze fills wherever I carved. So there's no white spaces. It's just carved with glaze inside of everything. These ones, this is underglaze. So I took greenware and then I put underglaze on top of it. Then I carved it out and then I fired it. So you can see it creates this cool like texture where there's white space and there's whatever color of underglaze I put. So it creates these cool designs. Rather than just filling all of this space with color, it creates, you've got like the color and then you also have the carved clay color. So very fun and awesome. We love sgraffito. How do we use our underglaze containers in class? We're gonna go over studio cleanliness and tips. So I've got my underglazes right here. I'm going to show you the difference between when we mix it up and when we leave it just as is. So this one, we're gonna look inside this bad boy. You see there's extra liquid. It's like half solid. It's not good. We don't want that. We don't want that. When you first get your underglaze, you need to shake it up so that it's not separated. It's all mixed together. And you will be able to see when I open this that it's nice and mixed together. There's no separation. So that's gonna go on a lot better on your project than if you didn't mix it. So step one, make sure the lid is actually on, okay? Because if it's not and I try shaking this, that's gonna go everywhere and you're gonna have to clean it up, so that would suck. Step two, you're shaking it. Step two, shake it, okay? After that, you'll use your underglaze, okay? We'll go all wild and crazy and paint our clay. Then it's time to clean all of this up. So we are going to be taking a sponge and we're cleaning this edge area here and on top. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful and clean that is. It wasn't. Now it's beautiful. The next part is the lid. You can leave this because that's always gonna be there. It's in these crevices that you want to get out. So I'm just wiping this edge all out. If you do get some of this, that's fine. Like, you're gonna be extra clean, I'm fine with that. But this area, that's what I care about. Gonna clean the lid because I kind of made a little mess. Oops. Okay, look how beautiful it is in there. Very nice. Outside, beautiful. This, so clean. So now, last step is to close it. And you need to close it all the way because we do not want the next kid to spill. So we're gonna make sure that's on there nice and good, no spills. And now this is good to go, put away. You did it. Congrats. How to use Underglaze. You will have your Underglaze. You've already mixed it. Good job. Congrats. You will have your leather hard to leather soft piece of clay and a fan brush. The way this works is you are going to be applying 2 to 3 coats of Underglaze onto this. The main thing you need to look out for is making sure you're applying even coats. So not thick globs in one spot and then really thin spots. You want it all to be one good even coat. So I'm gonna make sure there's nothing dripping. I'm gonna take my cute little magnet here and just do an even swipe over the top. Notice how I'm not like globbing it, because if I do that, then there's gonna be thicker spots. So I wanna do one nice, even brush stroke. And then I also wanna make sure that I'm getting my edges. You do not need to do the bottom. The bottom is not important. You're gluing a magnet onto there. Now, I'm gonna let this dry. And that might take a little bit. So like maybe fan it a little bit, I don't know. Do some other work. But we're gonna let this dry. You will be able to know that it is dry when, oh my dear goodness. If you touch it and you get underglaze on your hands, then you know it's not dry. So I guess I have to wait longer. So you can see that it's no longer shiny, it's pretty dull. So that's a good sign that it's dry. And if you put your finger on it and nothing comes off, it's for sure dry. It's important that it dries in between each coat, because if you just try and put it on while it's still wet, you're not applying a second coat, you're just smearing around the first one. You also want to try and avoid doing really thick coats, because that's obviously going to take longer to dry. Please refrain from putting underglaze on right at the end of class, like in the last 5 minutes, because if your bag, you're going to put this in a bag so that it doesn't get bone dry, and if this is still wet and the bag touches it, it's going to come off onto the bag, and then you're just going to have to do this again next class. So let it dry. And that is Underglaze. Congratulations, you are now ready to start your Sgraffito projects.